Welcome back to Power Lunch. A set of results came out of the JSE Securities Exchange this morning. Its company's name is Mustek. It's the year-end results to the 30th of June. Revenue up 16% to nearly 4.1 billion rand. Dividend up 18%. That's good news. Headline earnings up 3.9%, though not such a good performance there. In the Johannesburg studio of Power Lunch is Niels Coetzee, who is the CFO of Mustek. Niels, how was the period for you? It seems good, steady stuff, but things changing in your product market.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. Thanks for having me. I think you're spot on. It's a decent set of results under very challenging, or in a challenging environment where the rand has gone basically from 8 rand to 10 rand in this financial year. It's a 22% depreciation, and yeah, it's challenging, but I think pleased with the results that we've produced.
Indeed, of course, you've announced today that the rand has an important impact on your earnings, and you actually got a 2/3 hedge in now, which is quite progressive. I mean, most people go for maybe 30-40%. You've decided to go to 2/3. Yep. Why is that? Is that since the rand started to go from 8 in July last year to its current level of 10.40? Yeah,
it was early in this calendar year, being more or less in the middle of this financial year, that we've changed it from hedging 50% to hedging now 2/3. And yeah, well, luckily it's worked well for us. And I get asked the question often why I don't cover 100%. But the rand's not a one-way bet. The rand's not always weakening. Sometimes it's strengthening, sometimes it's weakening. We've seen it at 14. It's come back to 5.50, back at 11. Then strengthening back to 6, and now we're at around 10.40. So if the rand was always weakening, yes, of course, then the right answer would have been to cover 100%. But there's actually a bigger risk in it for us if we cover 100%, because we sell more or less at spot. So when the rand strengthens and you've covered at higher rates, there's no way you can offload that to your customers, and you've got to. Then you're incurring that loss and without recovering anything from your customers.
This is what a lot of people don't quite understand about a business like yours, is because, I mean, let's just read what exactly you are. Mustek is, and its subsidiaries, joint ventures and associates, is the assembling and marketer and distribution agent of ICT, information communication technology products and services. So you have to bring all that in. Your Treasury department must have been tearing its hair out over this last year's period with the rand being so volatile. And we talk about the petrol price, but of course it affects the way you plan. I mean, you can't really say what your margins are going to be if the rand is 10.40 one day and 9.90 the next.
Correct. No, it makes it difficult, but I think it's key for us to stick to our policy. And when the rand weakens, we get the opportunity to actually recover some of those losses by selling the products at higher prices. So, like I say, when the rand strengthening, it actually makes it more challenging. And with an average GP percentage of around 14%, it is challenging, especially if the rand weakens by 22% like it did in the last financial year. So I'm pleased with what we've
Let's move on from the rand now, if we can, Niels. I could talk about the rand all day. Let's talk about your operations over the last year. Maybe you could describe the highlights and the lowlights.
Yeah, revenue up 16%. Sorry to mention it again. Mostly as a result of the weakening rand, because we are, as you mentioned, in a dollar environment, and when the rand weakens, it leads to higher revenues, as our customer base is not as price sensitive as the market might think. I think the consumers are more price sensitive, but we sell to mostly to smaller, or to SMEs, government, corporates, and those markets aren't as price sensitive. Another highlight, if you've mentioned in your introduction, the dividend is up 18%. And then I'm also pleased to say that the working capital has improved significantly over the last financial year. A lot of emphasis has gone into reducing stock days, reducing debtors days, lengthening your creditors days. So you will note that the cash from operation is up more than 200%.
You talk about those other customers that you just mentioned not being price sensitive, and that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a good thing for the taxpayer, but it's certainly a good thing for you. But what about the retail? What about the retail customer, the man and the woman in the street in South Africa? Have you noticed a fall off in expenditure on these products?
Yes, definitely. We've noticed that, but we're not big into retail. It's a very small percentage of our total revenue, and also margins that we get from selling to retailers is actually very small. So it's not something I'm worried about. Even if that business, from my point of view, is diminishing, should not have a material impact on my net profit.
Let's have a look at the future now, Niels, because this is the really interesting part. Because right in front of you now, you can see old school Lindsay Williams with this steam-driven instrument called a laptop, and there's a new school Lindsay here with the tablet. This is the future, obviously. Are you getting into that?
Yes, definitely. I think it's important to note that previously with laptops, we haven't participated in the growth as much as some of our competitors has. And mainly because we only offered, that's 3 to 5 years ago, we only offered Toshiba and Mesa laptops to the market. Whereas now we are offering basically everything other than Dell and HP to the market, including Lenovo, Acer, Asus, Mesa, Toshiba, and various others. So we are geared, we've got the products to offer the market. And yes, this is what the market wants currently. And we've got the products, so I believe that we will participate in this next wave of growth.
You don't think that you're coming in a little bit late? I mean, the tablet has been a fact of life for many years now, and I know it's growing in Africa, but don't you think that you're coming in right at the end of it, and maybe there'll be something new in the next couple of years?
Yeah. Look, whatever the market wants, we will offer that to the market. I think what's key is Apple is losing some of its dominance, and it's opening up opportunities for us. I mean, I forgot to mention we also offer Samsung to the market, and at this stage there's a lot of growth in those products. And so yes, it might be late, but we've been offering these products for the last year or two. So coming from a low base, but our customers are demanding this, and we've seen tablets growing into all sectors, including education, not only consumers.
Yeah, I think that's an exciting part of it. I mean, there is a lot of debate about whether children should have laptops and tablets in classrooms. I don't know, but I think it's inevitable that progression must occur. Is there also a case that the African market might be slightly different? For example, the German market. So the German tablet serves a certain need to its customer. What about a specifically African tablet? And I think it's an important point because we are a different society.
Yeah, no, definitely. We will be, through all these various brands that I've mentioned before, we will be offering all of this not only to South Africa, but to Africa. So at this stage, we don't export to any other continent other than Africa. We do export to almost every country in sub-Saharan Africa, and we've got representation in East Africa, in Nairobi, through a company called Mustek East Africa, and in Nigeria, and also in Zimbabwe. So we are positioned to serve the whole of Africa, and from a tablet point of view, definitely, as soon as the internet connectivity and stable, well, internet connectivity is basically at this stage the biggest factor holding the growth in the tablet market back in Africa. But as that is improving, this market is definitely, there's a lot of growth opportunity for us.